Welcome back to the channel. Today, you and I will witness something extraordinary. For years, Jack, known to everyone as a man of composure, a man of few words, has kept his heart guarded. Yet, tonight, before a hall filled with villagers, he chooses to open up. He chooses to reveal the secret behind his love for Tu Tien. What was it that bound him to her from the very first meeting? Was it beauty? Was it gentleness? Or was it something much deeper, hidden from every eye, but his "stay with me until the very end"? Because this story is one that could change the way you look at love forever. That evening in the great hall of the village, the lights glowed softly. Lanterns swayed above like golden drops of warmth. Jack and Tu Tien had been invited to join a special gathering. People crowded into the wooden benches. They had seen the couple endure storms and hardships, always side by side. Yet never had they heard the truth of how Jack's love was born. The master of ceremonies stepped forward with a voice that stirred curiosity. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Jack will reveal for the very first time the secret that made him fall in love with Tu Tien for life. Whispers filled the room. Some thought it must be her delicate face. Others whispered about her kind manners. No one knew for certain. Even Tu Tien, sitting quietly with folded hands, had never heard him speak clearly of the moment when affection turned into devotion. She smiled faintly, but her heart trembled. Perhaps tonight would be the night when the veil finally lifted. The crowd hushed as Jack rose. His voice, usually restrained, now carried depth, every word heavy with memory. Many people may think I love Tien because she is beautiful or because she is gentle. But the truth is, what captured my soul was her strength. The audience leaned forward. The light struck his face, highlighting the lines of a man who had weathered storms. He closed his eyes briefly, as if to draw from the well of past sorrows. When I first met her, he continued, she was not the girl you see today. She was broken, abandoned, cast out by both her ex-husband and her mother. She had nowhere to go. She stayed in a small cave by the roadside. That night when I found her, she was not glowing with beauty. No, she was thin, her eyes swollen with tears, her clothes tattered and dirty. But in the midst of that misery, I saw a fire, a strength so unusual that it humbled me. His voice trembled. The hall grew utterly silent. She did not complain, she did not curse fate. Instead, she lit a small fire to warm herself, mended her torn sleeves with clumsy fingers, and when she saw me, she even managed a shy smile, as if to say, I'm fine. That resilience pierced my heart. I brought her food, I spoke to her, and day by day we became each other's support. What began as sympathy soon grew into admiration, and from admiration it became love. The hall erupted in gasps. Some whispered, some even sighed aloud. To find love in ashes, what could be more romantic, more fated? Jack's memory spilled into images that flashed like scenes on a stage. A younger Jack drowning in debt, contract papers scattered across the floor, the telephone ringing mercilessly. He buried his head in his hands, the weight of the world pressing down. But behind him stood Tu Tien, silent, steady. She touched his shoulder with her small hand. No blame, no complaint. Her eyes were calm, her lips curved in a fragile smile. That one touch told him, you are not alone. The memory shifted again. Tu Tien facing the cruelty of her in-laws. Harsh words from her mother-in-law, sharp as blades. A wife must know her duty, or she will find no peace here. Tu Tien bowed her head, holding back tears, her silence trembling with dignity. She walked outside where Jack waited in the courtyard. She took his trembling hand, squeezing it tighter than ever, wordlessly promising together we endure. These small moments multiplied. Carrying water in the pouring rain, their clothes soaked but their spirits bound. Cleaning the garden after storms, mud streaked across their cheeks. Sitting together on a cold porch, breath turning to mist in the night air. Harshness surrounded them, yet in every glance there was light, an unspoken vow of companionship. Jack's voice returned thick with emotion. I realized then what I loved most was not her beauty, nor her silence, nor any material thing. It was her heart, her steadfast courage that never abandoned me. His words echoed through the hall, striking deep into every soul present. The villagers sat frozen, some with reddened eyes, some clutching their neighbors' hands as if they too had witnessed a sacred vow. Then from one corner, applause began tentative at first, then louder, spreading until the whole hall roared with clapping hands and stamping feet. But Jack did not move. His eyes found Tu Tien in the front row. She pressed a trembling hand against her wet cheeks, wiping away tears that refused to stop. Her lips quivered into a smile radiant with love, because finally in front of all her devotion had been named aloud. And then something unexpected. Tu Tien rose. Slowly, with every step echoing in the silence, she walked to the stage. The crowd held its breath. Her face was streaked with tears, but her eyes shone like stars. Without a word, she extended her hand. Jack looked at her, his lips trembling, his chest rising with uneven breaths. Then he clasped that hand tight, unyielding, the same hand that had guided him through despair. The two embraced, wrapped in the golden light of the stage lamps. For a moment, silence reigned. Then the music swelled tender and eternal. The melody painted love itself, love that does not abandon, love that survives storms. Villagers wiped their tears hurriedly. Men, women, even children felt the weight of the moment. Jack leaned close to the microphone, still holding Tu Tien in his arms. His voice was low but steady. The secret has been told, but love, our love, has always been the truth. The hall exploded again. Cheers mixed with sobs, applause thundered like waves against the walls. They were no longer spectators. They had become witnesses of something sacred. In each other's arms, Jack and Tu Tien smiled. Pain faded, storms vanished. What remained was a love acknowledged, shining with the promise of eternity. Thank you so much for watching. I really love reading all your comments about Ly Tu Tien and Jack. If you enjoyed this story, please give me a like and don't forget to subscribe for more stories about Ly Tu Tien and Jack. Goodbye.